Imagine waking up one morning, and by nightfall, everyone you love is dead. Not from war, not from disease, not from disaster. Because one man told them to die, and they listened. 909 people, in a single afternoon, in the middle of a jungle. And the man who ordered it all? He sat in a chair and watched. This is the story of Jim Jones, the preacher who built a paradise and turned it into a mass grave. Jim Jones didn't start as a monster. In the 1,950 seconds, he was a young preacher in Indiana, charming, passionate, convincing. He preached equality at a time when America was deeply divided by race. He fed the poor, he healed the sick. At least, that's what people believed. And people believed him completely. He built his church, People's Temple, from almost nothing into a movement of nearly 1,000 devoted followers. Politicians shook his hand. Newspapers praised him. He moved his entire congregation first to California, then to the jungles of Guyana and South America. He called it Jonestown. He called it a socialist paradise, a place away from the corruption of America. What he didn't tell them was, there was no way out. Life inside Jonestown was nothing like the promise. Members worked long hours in punishing tropical heat. Mail was censored. Movement was restricted. Jones himself began deteriorating, paranoid, increasingly dependent on drugs, convinced that enemies were closing in from every direction. At night, he would wake the entire community with loudspeaker announcements. He ran drills. He called them White Nights, where followers were ordered to line up and drink a liquid he told them was poison. Pause. Let the weight land. It wasn't poison. Not yet. It was a test. Jones was training them, conditioning them, rehearsing the ending. And back in the United States, families were growing desperate. Letters weren't answered. People couldn't leave. Rumors of abuse reached Washington, D.C., and one man decided to go see for himself. U.S. Congressman Leo Ryan. He flew to Jonestown on November 17, 1978. That decision would cost him his life. Ryan's visit was tense from the start. Jones was nervous, erratic. Members secretly passed notes to Ryan's team begging to leave. Ryan agreed to take them. He prepared to depart from the nearby airstrip with a small group of defectors. They never made it onto the plane. Jonestown security guards arrived at the airstrip and opened fire. Congressman Leo Ryan was killed. 4 others died with him. Several more were wounded. Jones knew it was over. He called every man, woman, and child in Jonestown to the central pavilion, and over the loudspeakers, his voice came through calm, deliberate, final. We must all die. We must commit an act of revolutionary suicide. Large metal vats were carried in. Jones's aides mixed grape-flavored drink with cyanide, sedatives, and tranquilizers. Parents were handed syringes. They were told to put the poison into their children's mouths first. Audio recordings from that day still exist. You can hear children screaming. You can hear some adults protesting. And underneath it all, the steady, calm voice of Jim Jones urging everyone to die with dignity. Armed guards stood around the perimeter. There was nowhere to go. People lined up. Within 1 hour, 909 people were dead. When Guyanese soldiers arrived the next morning, they found the bodies arranged in rows across the compound. Parents next to children, families together, exactly as they had fallen. And then they found Jim Jones. Not face down in the mud with his followers. Not among the people he had called his family. He was found in a deck chair on the stage above the crowd, wearing a red shirt. A single gunshot wound to the head, likely self-inflicted, or delivered by an aide at his request. The man who had spent years preaching collective sacrifice, who told 909 people that dying together was noble, revolutionary, beautiful, chose not to drink the poison himself. He watched them die. Then he took what he had always told them was the coward's way out. He died alone, in a chair, above them all. The Jonestown Massacre became the single largest loss of American civilian life, until September 11, 2001. Among the dead were 276 children. They didn't choose this. They trusted the adults around them. And the adults around them trusted a man who had spent years carefully, deliberately, systematically destroying their ability to think for themselves. That is the real story of Jim Jones. Not a prophet, not a revolutionary, a manipulator who builds a cage out of faith and locked the door from the outside. The darkest leaders in history don't always look like monsters at the start. Sometimes, they look like the only person who truly understands you. If this story moved you, subscribe. And next time, we go deeper into the minds that shaped history's darkest moments.